I'm Nate the Bias User, and today I'm going to be reviewing this new Skrillex album, Quest for Fire. Anyone who was alive in the short-lived dubstep age is well aware of Skrillex, but he's never seemed to be a fan favorite in the Album of the Year Rate Your Music community I'm a part of. But I was still interested to see what Skrillex was cooking up with this newest record, his first solo record in about 9 years. There was also teasers getting a lot of praise, increasing my interest even more, and when finally getting to listen to this thing, I was wondering if Skrillex could potentially take dubstep in a different direction. But I guess he is at acceptance on the death of the genre he came up on and goes house for the most part. But even with that, there's a bit of dubstep-esque aggression laced in this thing. The intro Leave Me Like This is a dance party, but the bass is growling loud. Onto the vulnerable side to the track though, we get a spacey high-pitched piano and humming coming together when the song kicks off and recurs. It was peaceful, but it's even more peaceful when it comes back on the album's closer, which I didn't even remember was on the first track until returning to the intro for a re-listen. RATATA is fast, which isn't something the feature Missy Elliott seems to have a problem with, due to her fast rapping fitting in perfectly, just like the quick sounds of small splashings and buzzing synths. When we reach Butterflies, every track before was a banger, and this track still has things about it I love. I was into Sarah's bassy side on her vocal end, and I had fun in the world of a textured and clean metal xylophone I assume Fortet brought in the mix. But with my issue, the bass drum that is loud hits softly and I don't like it. The next two tracks had most of the likings from the vocal repetitions, whether it's perfectly clear on Inhale XL or blurry and wavy on A Street I Know. XENA has a way with making foreign sturdy drums sound futuristic by doubling down on the tightness and spamming the shit out of it without it feeling overlapping at all. Overwhelming, but everything is where it needs to be. Too Bizarre was a song Skrillex, Sway Lee, and Sick Brain already did in 2021, but with the version on this album getting the Juked label and feature Posage, who I believe was responsible for how heavy this track turned out to be, made it more energetic and danceable. There's also these rough sounds that go back and forth, to being attention-grabbing when it rises, then bassy when lowering over Sway Lee's mix of interrupted vocals that managed to be one of, if not the best Sway Lee feature I came across, especially on the chemistry he had with the driven guitars from Sick Brain. So yeah, Too Bizarre, Juked, fantastic remix track. Flodon is making bass-like rapping without being the most expressive work too well on Hydrate, but he's on point and you know he has attitude to a certain degree, even if it isn't a lot. Also, it still does not devalue the large amount of self-expression from others, because I was appreciating the amount of energy Stara provides when she returns on Good Space, with a performance that's fast and on point. But on the production end, there's just as much excitement with the high-pitched bottle drum hits that go good with the squeaking samples of yelling. I'd call Hazel Theme a slow burner, but it's more of an interlude that kicks off the closer if anything. It even has notes playing the pianos of humming that starts the first track on the album until the closer shows up and brings more of it, with a tapping drum and bass beat and repetition of the song's title still here with the ones that I came with. There's also a Porter Robinson feature that's best here than anywhere. This is arguably the most peaceful track on the record. I assume he was responsible for the highly emphasized fuzzy part and continues the synth brought at that moment. Porter felt limited on the track overall, but the cut as a whole was still a complete package, with the control of Skrillex and vocals from BB Borelli. And this is just a great ending in general. Just like the last Beyonce project, I wouldn't say Skrillex provided peak house music with Quest for Fire, but I loved a lot of the tracks, way more than I was expecting. The only track I wasn't crazy about was the one with Fortet, but even that had specific highlights to it. So yeah, I actually loved a Skrillex album. I'm gonna give this album an 8 out of 10. Like, subscribe, comment how I've gone crazy, and check out my other social medias, and I'll see you on my next video.